Good evening. Welcome to the Relishing Dead podcast where we devour everything in the TWD universe and beyond. I'm Dawn.
I'm Barbara.
And I'm Carol and Eliza.
I was going to say that too. I was thinking that.
So how's everybody doing?
I
this evening?
was Dawn and myself last week, and Eliza were you and herself. So we were covering everybody.
There you go.
Yeah.
Hey, Anissa. So everybody have a good weekend?
Eh.
You guys had a better weekend than I did.
It was fun. We'll talk about it later.
Okay.
Okay. So tonight we are without Eliza. We'll miss her. We're discussing season 2 of From, episodes 3 and 4, Teether and This Way Gone.
Yes.
So the thing I got from this episode was everyone like had a burden. Like it was like a burden on everyone. Like different things were happening with each character. What do you think, Carol?
Yeah, I think that they needed to tell us what the burdens were, because I think that's that's a telltale sign, that's the reason that that certain individuals are in Fromville. And for several of them, we didn't know what their burdens were for what was going on. We knew Christy and her girlfriend. We knew about that one, and we knew and we knew about Jim and Tabitha with the baby. But really, a lot of the other characters we didn't really understand.
I felt like Cordion didn't believe Boyd.
Yeah.
Like he was questioning him, and he was also concerned about Fatima. So, and he was kind of asking his dad, he didn't believe him. Like, what were you doing out there? Who were you with? He was asking a lot of questions. And then Donna having the conflict with Randall. Victor's room being destroyed.
Yeah. Tabitha seeing the little kids and thinking she's losing her mind.
And Tabitha coming back and seeing the house gone, basically.
Yeah.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah. And that damn Tilly, that old lady, she's still creeping me out.
She's everywhere.
She's fucking everywhere, and I don't like her. Man, she just every time she just kind of sneaks around, and she's like herpes. She shows up at the most inopportune moments. She just
doesn't that make you curious about her character? Like she kind of knows where everybody's at.
Yeah.
She's like, how do you know this? You just got here.
I know she's part of it. She's in there, and she knows things, and I don't trust her at all.
Do you think the tree laying across the road when they come to it is a faraway tree?
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
When I first had a first go around with it. Yeah.
I'm just curious.
I'm wondering if it's they can't. I'm curious as how they get past the tree.
Not just some random tree. That's for sure.
Yeah.
Because there's when you look at the pictures, I didn't see any other roads to take as a side road around it. So how do they get past the tree, or do they turn right back around and then all of a sudden they're in town? Is that how it works?
I don't know. I was just wondering that because of the tree, and then we have the trees where, Boyd went in, and then he came out in that area where he met, who was it, Martin? And then Sarah went through the tree, and she ended up back there in town.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, sorry, Anissa. I had my TV on in the background, and yes, you did see Carl in the woods. Sorry about that. I had to turn him off.
No distractions.
Exactly. I had to turn him off because no distractions, Angel. Anyway.
And another thing that really bothered me in this episode was the girl from the bus, where she ended up on the tree with the pole like through her head.
Helly, is that her name?
I'm not sure, but it was like, it's like they put her there on display.
Yeah.
Like whatever those creatures are, and they made her watch her boyfriend be dismembered.
Right.
So it's like, okay, so why did they do this? Why did they want everybody to see this on display? Like during the day.
I don't know. I think it was a power move.
Yeah. Kind of creepy. Like that was really creepy.
Yeah. That was really weird because she just didn't kill her immediately.
Mm-hmm.
Angel said they are torture creatures.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Mm-hmm. Hi, Cookie.
They see the tree over the road as an insurmountable obstacle. Maybe if they tried to move it and continue on, they wouldn't have been trapped in the town.
You know, I guarantee you, even if they tried to move it, it's not happening. I'm telling you.
Is it a portal? I don't know.
Yeah. And I saw somebody make a comment, why didn't they just use like a chainsaw or something like that? Well, I mean, a lot of people that travel around with chainsaws, but you know.
Have we ever seen anybody walk over the tree to the other side?
Yeah, or even around it.
We saw the little boy climb on it, but never across it.
We've never seen that.
Mm-mm.
That's strange. You would think, okay, let me, one of the guys, let me take a run down the block, see what's down there.
Yeah.
And what do you think about this dynamic where we have Kenny and his mother, Jim, Tabitha and her family, and Jade all living in the same house now?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, but I love that Jade is in there. I gotta say, I love that Jade is in there because everybody else is like all these, these family oriented people, all about taking care of each other. And then there's crazy Jade who's just like, I'm just gonna play the violin and do some edibles. I don't know. So,
but didn't he steal Victor's violin?
He stole the violin from him.
Victor's mad at him and Ethan.
I know. Yeah, I know. So let me get into this here.
Okay.
I gotta put my glasses on. All right, so
Jade is hot.
So Boyd is of course checking out his arm and looking at all the bugs and stuff like that.
And wondering what's crawling in. He's wondering if it's good or bad. Like, what am I have in me? What do you all think? Do you all think it's good or bad?
I think it's bad.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's bad too. I think because Martin was a vision, he wasn't really there. So, and somebody had posted on one of the front pages, well, who threw the rope down? Well, the whole area that Boyd was in was it wasn't there.
Right.
So, it kind of defeats the purpose of trying to figure out who threw the rope down to him. So I just think that it was just all a part of either his imagination or, because these things are good at making them see things.
And I think it's really weird if you think about it, because didn't he say that Martin was like a Marine or something? Or
he was a Marine, yeah.
And that, a Marine is supposed to be really tough. And, the first thing he says to Boyd is like, kill me or whatever. Like he must have been really tortured to just want to be killed instead of escape.
Right. And then Boyd didn't do that. And then I think that Martin sharing his blood with him and infecting him, I think that was maybe retaliation for Boyd not doing what he asked him to do.
Yes. Yeah.
So, I don't know. Oh,
There he is. Going, Dad, where have you been?
yeah. Where you going? He's so cute. I do like him. So Jim has survived, and Tabitha is there with him. And Tabitha's happy that he's okay. And I like the little exchange between the two of them. Yes, Destiny, he is hot as well. Yes. I like the exchange that they had with this one, because we know that they were on the verge of divorce.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and although tragedy is bringing them together, we don't want to see the tragedy, but tragedy is obviously bringing them together and showing them how much they care about each other. So I absolutely love this antagonist for Donna.
Randall.
Randall, is that his name? Randall?
Yep.
I just think that he's such a fantastic antagonist for her. You have a theory about Elgin?
I just thought he would be one of the people that die on season 3.
You think?
Yeah, that's just my prediction. I don't have any inside scoops.
I kind of see a parallel between him and Victor. You know, as far as characters, not naive, but a softer heart than everybody else in the town. You know?
I feel like there's more parallel between Victor and Ethan.
Yeah. Well, because Victor and Ethan are on the same level.
Mm-hmm.
But I also think that Elgin is just this soft soul.
Kiki's saying that people are saying Elgin is Fatima's baby.
Yeah, because we know that timelines don't necessarily, time's not an issue here. So we don't know if the future plays into it or not. I've seen that same theory, Kiki. So I don't know that I'm in agreement with that, but we'll see. And then Tabitha and Kenny's mom goes and she asks if she can look at the stuff that's in storage, because all the stuff is in their house and it's demolished. And is this where she says that they can come and stay with her?
I think so.
I think so too. And I love that that Ellis goes to pick flowers for Fatima. I think that's super cute. There we go. Okay, this is Kelly. And this was funny. I love this shot when she wakes up. And Kenny and Ellis are like, what the hell?
Mm-hmm.
Because they thought for sure that she was dead.
Right.
And Victor gets home and finds all of his stuff has been gone. Yes.
Yes.
He was not a happy camper.
Yes. I don't blame him.
Yeah, I don't either, because they just basically all of his shit's on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I love this. Okay, so Jade steals the violin. And I don't know, Dawn, you watched The Tudors. David Alpay, who is Jade, he was also in The Tudors. And his character in The Tudors was also a musician and played the violin.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm guessing that David Alpay knows how to play the violin.
I'm wondering if they just wrote this in for him for that. I don't know.
Probably.
Yeah.
You know, just to give his character even more depth. I love Jade's character.
Mm-hmm.
So he's fantastic. But I was wondering if that was the deal. So anyway, well, hopefully we'll get him on the podcast and we'll ask him personally.
Yes, and ask him what shampoo he uses.
Yes. And what beard oil for sure. I wonder if his character has beard oil in Fromville.
I don't know.
But I tell you what, seeing the season 3 premiere, everybody's aging.
Yes, I noticed that.
Yeah, because Jade's got some gray in his beard in season 3.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and I don't know if anybody watched my cameo, but Eliza had got me a cameo. And if you notice, David Alpay has not shaved.
right.
He hasn't cut his hair. So that made me think he's still on there.
Mm-hmm.
His character's not been killed off.
Yeah.
So I kind of connected that. I don't know if anybody
And
else
they're
did.
done with season 3 filming. So.
Say that again, Carol.
I said they're done with season 3 filming.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was just for maybe another role or something he's preparing for.
Well, we'll keep our fingers crossed that his character does not get killed off, because I love his character. It's very juicy. His character. So, of course, Victor goes back to the house where Jade is at Kenny's mom's and gets his violin back. I love that. And Jade goes following him, and he shows him the picture, and he asks Victor about this dude that's in the picture with him when Victor was a little boy.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't get an answer.
I think he knows. I just don't think he wants to tell him. He's mad at him.
Yeah, I think that because Victor says, I don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, and his beard is gray. It's got little patches right here, I think, in the preview.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I haven't seen that episode in a bit, but didn't he want to make a trade to tell him who the person was for a song? Or am I mistaken?
I don't remember that.
I think that's a little bit further on.
Okay.
Yeah. So, anyway, Victor won't open up. He won't tell anybody anything about that guy in the picture. Yeah, and Boyd's beard is gray in the preview too, so that's why I say everybody's aging. So Christy's girlfriend, she's kind of pissed off because Christy is just acting like, it's not a big deal that she's had.
Carol freeze.
Huh?
There we are. We froze a second.
Oh, okay. So Christy's girlfriend is mad about the rock. It's just sitting there like it's no big deal. And then Ellis and Kelly have a conversation. They're just sitting there. These two people, where do they come into play? Are those the two that showed up at the diner with Kelly and her boyfriend? I think this is kind of a flashback, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. So correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Tabitha told Jim that the wires didn't go anywhere.
Right. That they weren't hooked to anything underneath. Right.
Right. So Jim, in my opinion, he's going to that exit sign to see where the wires go, right?
Mm-hmm.
To see if what Tabitha was telling him is true.
Mm-hmm.
And then guess who shows up conveniently?
Mm-hmm.
Little Tilly.
Mm-hmm.
You gotta love her.
Tilly Tally.
Showing up with her creepy ass self. It's like when Gabriel shows up behind Negan and he's like, damn, you're creepy. So, yeah, I can't. Tilly's just rubbing me the wrong way.
Well, didn't you find it interesting that when Tabitha was talking to Jim that she didn't tell him about anything she's seen in the tunnels?
Yeah, she didn't tell him
under
anything.
the ground. No.
And I don't know if she thinks that she doesn't tell him anything. She doesn't tell him
Unless unless she thinks she's just seeing things, but her and Victor both seen them.
Right.
Maybe she's saying it because she doesn't want to say it because she doesn't think he's going to believe her.
Maybe.
That's a possibility, thinking that she's losing her mind, that she's cracked, That's possible. All right. So this lake, I've heard theories, and back in the first season in Ethan's book, there in his story, in the very first episode, the story that him and his sister, you know, with the little finger puppets, the little finger puppet comes from a lake.
Okay.
And I can't think of what the name of the lake is, but there's a theory going on that this lake is kind of the parallel to that book. So we may the Chromonicle, Vanessa, Chromonicle. Yeah.
And
So
this is what made Elgin throw up too.
Yes.
Yeah, he's seen this. Yeah.
Yeah. So remember that lake and do some digging, because I can't think of what the name of the lake was, but anyway, there's a lot of theories running around that this lake is the parallel to that in the book. Poor Kelly. I love that Christy's just like, yeah, you're gonna die, girl. You know, you're gonna die.
I know. I felt so bad when she asked to call her mom. I was like,
oh yeah.
There's like no phones here.
And Christy's like, I have a piece of paper and a pencil, and I can write down what you want to say. And she didn't get no paper, no pencil, no nothing, because she knew that it was pointless.
Mm-hmm.
But Kelly didn't question it. She just rambled on about how sorry she was that she didn't hug her mom when she left.
Right.
So, and there's the creepy kids that Tabitha sees.
And only Tabitha.
And only Tabitha. Yeah. So I'm curious as to who these kids are.
I'm thinking, is she seeing this because the death of her infant? I don't know.
I have no idea. I'm definitely going to die when they move it. Yes, and yes, I agree with the movie Signs. That was the wife. I like that Boyd goes back and talks to Abby.
Mm-hmm.
I do like that. I think that's it's very grounding for him, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And Kelly dies, and Christy comes back, and she's obviously distraught about what she had to do.
Mm-hmm.
And then Ellis proposes again to Fatima, and they decide they're going to get married in Fromville. They're not going to wait until they get back. They're going to go ahead and get married.
Right.
They ain't getting back.
Yeah. And here we see that thing that Eliza was talking about last week or the week before. And I don't remember what she called them, but they're markers.
Mm-hmm.
She saw one down in the caves with Victor.
Mm-hmm.
And then she comes home, and Ethan is playing with a puzzle.
It's almost like, are they pulling out pieces that cause something? Or putting, I don't know. It's like Jenga.
Yeah. And Nissa asked, what was Fatima's burden? Does anybody know or remember?
I think it was about the baby, wasn't it? Being pregnant.
I don't know, but she wasn't pregnant when she got to town, was she?
Mm-mm.
Because that's Ellis's baby, right?
Right, but I'm talking about during this episode.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe. All right. So Donna, she's freaking out about her plants. She can't figure out what's going on. And then Kenny goes downstairs from the church, and he finds Sarah. So that's the end of that episode.
I think Fatima, wasn't it that she saw there was like something with the police and her dad and the gunshot or something?
Yeah,
like
and
that?
Kiki just said that her father got killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was the end of the first episode of episode 3. And then we get to episode 4, and we see a flashback of Kenny and his parents.
Mm-hmm.
And Kenny, Boyd offering him the deputy position.
Mm-hmm.
That's so we learn how Kenny became deputy.
Yeah, kind of little backstory there.
Right. And this whole time, Kenny doesn't know about anything that Sarah has done. Doesn't know about his dad or anything like that. And Boyd learns that she's been in the church basement the entire time after they went through the tree.
And here's another observation. I don't know if anybody caught this, that Sarah was the only one to see the boy in white. Boyd did not see him.
Oh, that's right.
So I'm wondering if the boy in white led her back to town. I don't know. There's so many questions.
I know. I just, and I have a feeling that season 3 is just going to be just as bad. We're not going to get as many answers as we want. So Victor is diligently trying to copy down everything that he saw while they were in the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Ethan shows up and tries to apologize.
Yeah.
I'm sorry I messed with your stuff. And then it surprised me that when Chris was checking out Boyd, that she didn't see the little thingies running around in his arm.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I like this exchange between Donna and Jim. I think that they have a good relationship too. Her and Boyd and her and Jim. I like those two relationships. She's just so amazing. And there's douchebag.
Mm-hmm.
Randall, is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So somebody goes through his shit at Colony House and he gets pissed off, knocks the guy on his ass. And
Donna throws him to the bus, don't she?
Yeah, it causes a big commotion and everything. And then we're back with Kenny and Sarah, and Kenny has brought Sarah some food, and they're talking, and this is where Kenny learns about what Sarah has done. But Donna, being the badass that she is, she figures out what she's going to do with Randall. And she's going to take him to the bus.
And did anybody catch this? Like the talisman, she says that if it's hanging in the bus.
Yeah.
And she says if it touches the ground, it doesn't work.
Yeah. She says, hang it in the window. So, which I thought was interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That has to hang up, you know. And Kenny tells Boyd that he knows what Sarah did, and he tells Boyd that Sarah should go in the box.
Mm-hmm.
And Boyd's like, she's in the box.
What do you guys think of that?
About her not going in the box?
What?
Well, I mean, I understand that Boyd is convinced that they're being able to get out of there has something to do with Sarah, since she hears the voices and stuff. So I don't know. It's kind of a tough call. Boyd didn't want to send the last guy into the box.
Right.
But he did anyway. I think, wasn't he going to change his mind or something like that? And he offered the guy a way out not to do it.
Yep.
And the guy decided that he wanted to do it anyway, to be with his family.
Yep.
So
then when he was in there, I think he was regretting it, obviously. But
yeah.
But I don't think she should be in the box. I think, I don't know. I think she's the answer.
I feel like, Kenny's upset, but I'm like Boyd, like she knew things about Boyd. There was no way of her knowing. And if Abby's talking to her or whoever the creatures of knowing information, she has to know something. And he's going to have to understand that they need her.
Did Boyd and Sarah see a huge spider in the forest?
We're not talking about that.
Why not, Carol?
No, I'm not even gonna discuss Kiki's question because it's not a valid question.
I thought about you the other night. I had a big friendly.
La 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 la.
Yes, she knew things about the father. Yep, not the father. The father.
I don't want to talk about that. See, Anissa knows.
Father, not the father.
Mhm.
Father, not the father. So, and we don't know about the ballerina just yet. I don't think I don't think we've seen the ballerina yet, have we?
Mm.
Or have we? Not valid. Yes, Kiki, your question was not valid. We're not talking about spiders.
I want to know the answer because I don't remember.
I don't know. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Maybe it does.
It does not. Sorry, Kiki. Your questions are always valid, honey. You know that. Anyway. She appeared. Yeah, I don't think we've seen in the bridge dancing with Lloyd, and I think the cave. Oh, we did. We saw the music box. You are absolutely right, Kiki. We haven't seen her dancing in the church yet. I don't think. Have we seen that episode?
I don't think so.
I don't think we've seen that episode yet. But because the ballerina hasn't come to life yet. But Kiki's right. We did see it in the music box in the cave with Martin. Is that his name? Yeah. So. Because Martin said you have until the music ends to get out of here or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Anyway. So that's it. Does that come with the song about they come in the trees? I don't know what the song is that's playing in the music box. If somebody wants to look that up. Yeah, I know. We're doing certain episodes, Kiki. We've all watched the whole thing through leading up to season 3, so it gets jumbled for us too. That's why I asked if we had seen the ballerina in real life yet.
That's harder for me because I haven't rewatched.
Yeah. So anyway, welcome back, Regina. So anyway, so we're excited about season 3.
I'm afraid I'm going to rewatch it and get all these old different kinds of theories.
I know. Yeah. So, do we have any theories about who the body is that Boyd's carrying in the preview? Barb. Not a clue. Yeah, I don't either. I don't have any theories. What about you, Dawn?
A lot of people are saying it's Kenny's mom, but I don't know.
Didn't Eliza post something like she zoomed in on something in the arm? What was that?
I don't know. I couldn't tell from the picture, so I couldn't tell what she was focusing on. So I tried scrolling in, but I couldn't see what she had in the picture circled. So I don't know.
But I feel like at the end of the episode, like I said, I feel like it was kind of like a filler episode. But I feel like, Tabitha didn't tell Jim, and Jim's trying to figure out what the voice was on the radio. I feel like I'm in The Walking Dead, but
yeah, I know.
But it kind of, and then Victor's still upset with Ethan because he was in his room, and Victor's doing his drawings of whatever he's seen in the cave with Tabitha. Yes. Okay. I agree, Kiki. I think it was Kenny's mom.
Okay.
Because I think if it is, it's going to send Kenny over the edge.
Okay.
I don't want to see that.
No.
Yeah,
he just picks up the radio and says, Jim, you were talking to Jackie, and you were talking to Jim, and you were we need to find a better place than the prison for you.
I don't either, Kiki, especially if she's telling him that the electricity, the wires are going nowhere, then why wouldn't you tell what you've seen?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, but he doesn't believe her about the wires. He's got to check it out for himself. So, him not believing her seeing little zombie ghosts for kids is not that far fetched, So, you're so strong and a woman is screaming. It's old audio to throw us off. Oh, okay. Because they're all losing. Yes, they're all losing their minds. I agree with Dana. Cray.
Well,
that's what it's going to be. That's exactly what it's going to be at the end of this series. They're all going to be patients at a mental facility.
mm-hmm.
And somebody, the nurses and the interns have all screwed up their meds. And this is all hallucination. That's my theory.
My theory is like from The Walking Dead, Rick wakes up and it's all a dream. So one of them's boy's going to wake up and it's all a dream.
Right. And all the people that are in it are all people that were employed at the hospital, right?
I think it's going to be something like Lost too, where they all ran into each other. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like they've all been there and there's something going on. I'm not saying they're dead, but they've all had an interaction with each other from some time in the past.
Outside of Fromville?
Yes.
I gotcha. Yeah. I don't know. I kind of like the insane asylum theory. I think it'd be pretty funny.
Well, I mean, I can see why they could be insane. Like, for one, Fatima watching her dad get killed, the baby for Tabitha.
Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of the drug overdose.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is said they ate mushrooms that were growing on that tree in the road.
Wizard of Oz.
I mean, that's a possibility. You don't know. That's funny.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. So tell us what happened this weekend.
Go ahead, Barb.
Well, you have to tell your photo op story.
Well, go ahead. Tell them what we did.
You wanted to start off by telling about the guy at the counter.
Okay, well, everybody that didn't know, we went to Smoky Mountain Fan Fest, and Kari was there, Chandler was there, Cutlets was there, and so was Kim Coates. That's why we went. So I had bought a photo op, the group photo op, and well, actually, Barb was going to surprise Jeremy Palco because we were going to buy a photo op of his, and that's when you went and asked,
right,
if we could have.
He's never had a photo op, and the Smoky Mountain actually realized, oh, you're in The Walking Dead. You know, get your own photo op, and they added them to the panel as well. So that was pretty cool.
And Barb was asking if they could have 3 adults in a single photo op. Well, then this is where we find out we can only have 2 adults in a group TWD photo op. Barb comes and gets me, and she's like, Dawn, this guy over here, you say what he said. Go ahead. You go say that.
He was like, okay. So I was like, 2. I says, but we're family. We're like, he's like, what do you like, mother, sister, aunt? I'm like, no, we're a Walking Dead family. I've been friends with him for quite some time. You can even bring it. He goes, well, let me ask him. And I'm like, no, don't ask him. It's supposed to be a surprise.
Right.
I said, but, you know, we've known him for, you know, so many years, blah, blah, blah. And then, you know, I called her on. He says, he's arguing with me that you can only be 2. So she comes over and he wants to throw in our face. And we were trying to tell him that we've had many photo ops that had more than 2 people in it. He's like,
a group photo.
Yeah. Two adults, 2 children. And he's like, well, how many cons have you been to? And we're like, I don't know, a lot. He's like, well, I've probably been to a lot more than you have. And I've never seen that. I mean, he was like cocky.
He was like, I've been to ones in Europe. Have you?
And yeah. And he's like, well, how many did you go to this year? I was like, I don't know, about 50. He's like, oh, I got you beat, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fuck it. Well, who the hell are you? So Dawn's like, well, if I would have known that, I would have never spent so-and-so money, you know,
$200 on this photo op.
And then he's trying to tell us, well, you should have read the fine print, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, but we're so used to, you know, whatever. So anyway, this lady comes over and he's like, well, ask her. Well, in an instant, we were like, we want to have 3. No problem. No problem. Meanwhile, we're having a 20-minute argument conversation with him. And she comes over. Don't worry about it. We got you.
Then, so we got that straightened out, you know, because we got to cause trouble,
man.
Because we got to cause trouble, you know.
What a dick. Right,
yes,
Anissa.
Yes, Anissa. And we're in line for the TWD photo op. And we're all excited because we have this pose picked out, which is the Friends pose, and it's 6 people. Okay.
Right.
So we get in line, and Jeremy Palco is included in the photo op, which on the photo op, it just said Kari, Cutlets, and Chandler. We have a meltdown.
No, you had a meltdown.
And I'm like, oh my God, we can't do our pose. Jeremy's
Just have him lay on the floor is what I said.
And I'm like, what are we going to do, Barb? What are we going to do? I'm like, and she's like, well, just tell him to get in the front and spread his arms. And I'm like, well, then it doesn't. I'm like, oh my gosh. And then we're getting a picture with him. We're not surprising him. So we get up there and we're like, where do we put our stuff? And it's so weird because you have to walk in front of the actors to throw your belongings in this wagon. You know, those pool wagons that they have at cons.
Yeah.
So here we are. We get up there and we're like, oh my God. And Barb's like, I'm just going to tell him. So you tell me what you do.
So you got Carrie, Chandler, and Cuddles, right?
Yeah.
I don't even look at them. I go flying past them. Big hug to Jeremy. I said, Jeremy, we love you so much.
Back. You take
I had my hand on his chest. I said, Jeremy, we love you so much, but we don't want you in this photo.
And Cutlets and Kari and Chandler are all going, what?
So then I said to him, he goes, oh, okay. I says, well, Dawn had it planned out with this little photo op, and it doesn't, you know, it's just so many people. And he's like, no, I get it. I said, and plus I told you earlier there was a surprise for you. You're our next photo op. We want you by ourselves. And he's like, oh, absolutely. Okay. But I have my hand on his chest. I'm like, Jeremy, we love you so much, but we don't want you in our photo.
And the guys were like,
they watched me. I was wondering what was happening because I beeline right past them. Like, wait a minute. We're the actors here. What did you just like diss us for Jeremy?
For Andy?
But right after that, we had a photo op with Jeremy. He loved it. But go ahead, Dawn. Tell the
well, after that, I get the picture out on my phone. And I'm like, hey, guys, can we do this? And so the guys are sitting there. And they're like, okay, I'll get over here. And then like, Cutlets was saying, this is like a mirror effect. Shouldn't I be over here? And like, we're taking all this time. And tell him what the cameraman was doing. Well,
the cameraman was the guy that we were arguing with. And he was going like this.
Yeah. Come so on, we just, ladies. Come
and
on.
Cuddles looks at the picture and he goes, the Destiny, because Cuddles was paired up with Destiny. He goes, so I'm going to have my junk all up in there or something like that.
And so they kept asking to see the picture. And the camera
like, oh yeah, baby.
Pissed at us. He was like,
they wanted to make sure they had it right, and they kept looking, and it was a mirror image, which is actually pretty cool. But yeah, he was over there going like this because he was also the cameraman.
Yeah.
So we did the picture. After that, we go over to Jeremy, do our picture, and he high fives us and goes, "That was a great shot. Good job, ladies. Good jobs." He must have gotten yelled at or gotten, put in his spot, because when I said that lady came over instantly and said, "Don't worry, we got you," because the same thing, the three of us were in the picture with Jeremy. So he's high-fiving us at the end. Great shot, great shot, great shot. We were like, you're a dick, you're a dick, you're a dick. He's like trying to kiss up to us.
Yeah. Destiny said she was like, I don't mind. And I don't blame her. I don't mind either. He can put his dress wherever he wants.
Yeah, but it was funny with Jeremy because he was so excited. We were his only photo op because like it was new, maybe a lot of people didn't know at that time, but he was very excited about that. We had a good time, so he appreciated that.
I love Jeremy so much. He's such a
I couldn't stop laughing about that.
That's
Jeremy,
funny.
We love you so much, but we don't want you in our photo.
Were the photo ops before the panel, or was it after?
The photo ops was before the panel.
Before the panel? Okay. Yeah.
Hiya.
But yeah, that was, and I asked him, I said, how did you end up into that? Because, you've been into so many conventions. And he said they noticed that I was an actor and said, no, you need a photo op. You need to be part of this panel. Absolutely.
So all the other photo ops that were cast photos, Jeremy was in after that?
Yes.
That's cool.
He was in. We were watching them take the picture and we were like, Dawn's freaking out. Shit.
That's funny.
And then when we go to the panel, we cry like 3 times.
You cried like Well, I love Barb's question. She asked Jeremy, how has his art changed his life
Yeah.
or affected
Impacted his life. Yeah.
his life? And I love that question. But I had to say, and I told the girls this before the podcast started, I'm surprised because Barb has so many pieces of Jeremy's artwork. She literally has a wall of his stuff. And I was really surprised that Jeremy didn't turn around and go, "Oh, hi, Barb."
Well, it's funny because, like Dawn says, when we first started, it was just the three of them that came up on stage. I'm like, well, damn it. I wanted to ask him a question and he was late. So as soon as he sat down, the guy with the microphone was right in front of me. So it was instantly there. So, but, I forgot what I was going to say.
People that were in the panel in the room there, the audience that was in the room, it sounds like they didn't realize that he was an artist.
Right.
Hopefully that question drew some feet to his.
I'd like to think so, because when we went back, I was telling Dawn there was like a good 10, 15 people over there. So I was kind of hoping that was the case, because he did say, hey, I have a booth when you're, not with the actors, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So I kind of hope that was it. I mean, there's still a lot of people walking around and stuff. So.
Yeah, and Destiny said she noticed more people at his booth too. Yeah, Anissa, you're right. He didn't start painting until COVID. That's what got him painting, was him not having really anything to do because he was stuck in the house. So
yeah, and honestly, I already knew the answer to that, but I think to promote him a little bit more, everyone in that audience should have known. So that's why I went with the stronger question. And he was funny because he went, "Oh, we'll go right into it." I was like, so I knew that might have helped. So I hope so.
I hope it did too, because Jeremy's an incredible artist. So,
and I saw some pictures. I think he finally sold that Lucille picture of his.
He did. I saw some lady was holding it. So I'm assuming that's the one who bought it.
Yep.
So I hope that worked for him. I hope that he got some sales off of that.
And it's funny because I was thinking of it too, because the panel was after the photo op. So after the three of them watched me beeline past them and not even look at them and go to Jeremy, and then, oh, now she's asking a Jeremy question. What are we, chop liver?
Yeah. Did you notice that Kari went over and got a piece of his art too?
Yeah. Did he really?
Yeah, there's a picture of it.
Oh, that's cool.
And Kari was still wearing our bracelet.
I saw that.
I was happy about that. He's a sweetheart. And I will tell you guys, one of the reasons why I cried, and I wish I filmed it, but I was down to like 10% on my battery, because for some reason in that place, it was like zapping. And we would have went live again, but they were stopping people with their cameras everywhere. They were really enforcing it.
Yep.
But Kari was talking about, like, when Cutlets, I don't know if you all watched that clip that I put, that he said Cutlets was the first person that came to him and was telling him how being on this show was going to change his life. And he's like, no. He goes, it's like having your first kid, but it's bigger than that. Like, this is going to change your world. And when he continued to talk about it, he said, we appreciate all of you all, and he can see it in our eyes. He sees it Kari says he sees in our eyes how if something that they do affects us at work, affects us in our family life, affects us. See, you're getting teary-eyed. Affects us in our personal journey. They say they know and they see it and they appreciate it. And they know that what they done has impacted all of us.
Yep. The other one that made her cry was
fuck you, Dawn.
I'm glad I brought tissues.
I had to get Barb's tissues.
Yeah. The other one, which was a very cool story, was Cuddles was saying that somebody asked if they ever improvised stuff, and it was his idea to give the peace sign to Sasha. Yeah. Because they did it a couple of times. So she's like, I mean, yeah, it was his idea. And I forget what the reasoning was. It was something that had to be something subtle to say.
They didn't want him to turn and look at her because the impact of them having to look at Negan.
Right.
So they didn't want him to have to turn away, and they knew that gesture that he said that he thought of that and he said, I know that you all knew what that meant.
Yeah.
Right. And he said Sasha's reaction to it was just spot on. So
Because he does that in that one episode when he's outside at night in Alexandria.
Yeah.
You know, and he just and I know that there were some people that missed that, but that was one of the things that I immediately saw in that episode.
Not me. I'm like seven times into it going, what? How did I miss that?
Yes, and they talked about Scott Wilson too, which was another tearjerker.
Yeah.
And then Kari went above and beyond, and this just reminds me, Dawn, of the conversation Lori Holden had with who was she praising on the stage?
Enid.
She was praising Enid on stage. Well, Kari did the same thing with Carl Chandler.
Oh my gosh.
What a great, strong head on his shoulders. I mean, he was just going on, and that made me teary-eyed because he was just.
They were saying how proud they were of him, like a lot of child actors that grow up, they can't handle all of it. And even like Michael Cutlass, he said some adults can't handle it.
Mm-hmm.
And he said for him to grow up in that, the impact of this, one of the biggest shows in the world, and he turned out such a wonderful man. We're all like,
yeah.
Oh,
give me a tissue.
I just love when they do that because Lori, like you said, Lori Holden did that to Enid. That was amazing.
Yeah.
Yes. And then like, what did Chandler say? Oh, and Chandler said his worst regret on the show is that he didn't have a scene with Kaylee Fleming. He said, I had 7 Judas, but never Kaylee Fleming.
Oh.
And he said he wished he got to do a scene with Kaylee, but he never did.
Yeah. Well, you know, they might have some sort of, you know, like when Rick has that vision of Carl, and then you hear Weird Al playing in the background and stuff like that. You know, when they come back for season 12, you know, I'm just saying. Yeah, see, even Gina, season 12, like, you know, Judith could have some sort of, you know, out-of-body experience and have a conversation with her big brother.
Exactly, Jennifer. I think it's a big testament to not only Chandler, but his family too, the love and support.
Yeah.
And then when we walked up to Kim Coates, the first thing we said was, welcome to the Walking Dead family.
I was going to ask if you did that. Yeah, because he's got Sons of Anarchy under his belt, but that's nothing. The fans of Sons of Anarchy is nothing as far as the level of crazy that TWD is. And I was wondering if you guys welcomed him to the family.
Let me tell you, he's wonderful. If y'all get to meet him, run. All he talked about was working with Jeffrey Dean Morgan. He thought that was the best thing ever.
That I could see it.
Yeah. He's like, I was like, oh, you like that swagger, did you?
Right.
We were waiting in line for him, and he comes and he finally came in. I'm like, oh, there he is. And then he goes, how's my hair? I'm like, beautiful. He goes, how's my eyes? I'm like, beautiful. Like, good morning. He was so funny.
He's like, am I dressed okay? He's like, am I dressed okay?
Yeah, I'm glad he's got a good personality.
Yeah, well, when I first met him in Nashville, my friend wanted to meet him, and I hadn't watched Sons of Anarchy at that point, so I let him have the limelight. But he was trying to involve me in the whole conversation. I mean, they stood there for like 20 minutes talking because this was the Nashville bombed one, you know, that didn't go over so well. But yeah, they were having a great time, and he was sweet then. Then I watched Sons of Anarchy, and I kind of regretted not getting in on the photo. I was just trying to give them the space, but he did the same thing. He pulled all of us in. We were talking, and it was, you know, I went first, and I was going to take a selfie with him, and he pulls Dawn in. And he's like, Destiny, come on over. He's just
he's like, we'll all get in. Let's all do it. Yeah. So he was really cool. And, you know, Destiny, I would love for him to come to camp. And you want to meet him? Because let me tell you, when he was on the panel, because we watched the Sons of Anarchy panel too, because we needed to sit down. And we were like, let's sit down. And hey, Edward. And he was like one of the guys that did the most talking, wasn't he, Barb?
Who?
Kim Coates during the Sons of
Kim
Anarchy.
Coates and Theo Rossi.
Yeah, they kind of ran the panel. So
Ron's not talking.
yeah, he didn't say anything hardly.
Yeah, I've heard that Perlman doesn't have a lot to say.
But what he does, it's funny. It's like Gabriel when he's Seth Gilman when he's on stage. He does the same thing. He'll just say, "Yes."
Yeah.
That's what Ron does. But he did talk a little bit. But yeah, Theo Rossi and Kim Coates stole the show.
Yeah.
And Kenny Johnson, all he had to do was sit there with his muscles.
Right. Right. Yeah, I haven't met Ron Perlman. I want to because I absolutely loved him in Beauty and the Beast. That's when I fell in love with him. So, I don't know. I'm kind of glad that Kim Coates is part of the TWD family now because I like just about everything that Kim does.
Mm-hmm.
And another little story I want to share, just because it touched my heart so much, is we were standing, me, Barb, Destiny, and I think Dustin was there too.
Dustin, Bill, and Amy. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were standing there. Barb had to go to the restroom. We were waiting. She's coming out. And there was a booth sitting right there next to where you go in the bathroom. And then there was like another booth over here. And then Billy Zane's booth with the Titanic set up. Mm-hmm. Well, the guy that was sitting here he played in Deliverance, the boy with the banjo, the young
mm-hmm.
boy. So he was probably, oh my gosh, he was poor thing. He was poor thing. Like they had to help him sign. Okay. Nobody was in his line. Billy Zane got up, noticed that nobody was in his line, bought an autograph, and went over to this other lady. She had nobody in her line and bought an autograph from her.
Oh.
And he had nobody in his line, but that's what he did.
And so then Dustin and Billy went over and got his autograph. Bless his heart. It was the sweetest thing. Billy Zane, I was just like, oh my gosh. If I had enough money, I would have went and seen him too, just because of him doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was precious.
That speaks a lot to their character when they do stuff like that.
Yes.
And then they had some Oliver Steele who was playing in between. He was playing his guitar and he was playing music for everybody. Mm-hmm. And then the music stopped. And who was the only one clapping? Billy Zane.
Billy Zane. That's funny.
Yeah.
I love that. I love hearing stories like that.
Mm-hmm. And when I first Destiny met him back at Lexington, and he was very just chill, nothing really big. He seemed like that when he walked around too, talking to us. He was just chill. Mm-hmm. Not much to say. He's just that standard, typical guy. Not like over excited like Carrie or mm-hmm. the people that we usually meet. But he was very sweet.
Yes.
Chill. So.
Yeah.
So who all did you talk to about coming on the podcast, and who all did you talk to about coming to the camp?
All of the above. All the above.
Yes.
Well, didn't you, Dawn, ask Cutlets why he didn't come? Or
no, I told him, Kristen and Josh was there, so you need to be there so we can have a group photo op. Mm. Yeah. And then what? There was something else. I can't remember now.
Well, we need to get Kari to the camp too. I mean, he's been to Camp Merrimack,
mm-hmm.
but different.
He was also at the first time he was also at Jacob's Table because that was my first one.
Oh, and also Kim Coates let out that it's supposed to be released in January, Dead City 2.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
So hopefully it's January, guys, sometime, Dead City 2.
Oh, that would be cool. Now we have Daryl Dixon coming in 2 weeks. Is that right?
No, it's in September.
It's in September. Yeah. Well, this is all
end of September. It's like September 22nd.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
And then I think From's the next week, the 28th, or vice versa. One's before the other.
Okay.
Destiny, you should know this. When does Daryl Dixon premiere?
It says boo in September.
5 weeks. Jennifer said 5 weeks.
5 weeks. Okay. All right. Awesome.
Cheers, Jennifer.
Yes.
Good job, Jennifer. So.
Yeah, September 29th.
Okay. All right. Regina says, let me check my calendar. She's got it on her calendar too, I'm sure. And we're probably not going to get it early, are we? As AMC Plus or whatever like
Yeah,
that.
Nissa says from is the 22nd, so I had it reversed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
September 29th is Dixon.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm hoping, because I'm going to Sonoy Labor Day weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And that same weekend is when they do their porch fest thing where they have different bands and stuff playing different porches, and it's a big Labor Day thingy, whatever. So the last time I went, I don't know if it was last year or the year before, but the last time I went, Jeremy was there with, he had a little setup with his art and stuff like that. So I'm hoping to see Jeremy when we're there. So
okay.
Anyway.
Yeah, Matthew was there too. That was pretty awesome.
And you guys saw Matthew?
Oh yeah, they were right next to each other. We saw Matthew first. Actually, when we first got there, we were waiting online for Kim Coates, and I hate that VIP stuff. You get it an hour early and nobody shows up, and all of a sudden here comes general admission. Then the actors show up. It's like, I get it. We're 3 in line. There was no lines really. The biggest line was Kevin. Dawn will remember his name. I'm not a big fan, but you wait in line. So I was like, I got offline. I'm like, gonna go check out the artwork and say hi to them and stuff. Dawn had to go. But yeah, I went in and said hi to Matt, and I said, hey, and he's like, hey, Barb. And then Jeremy was right next to him, so I kicked back with them for a little bit and then jumped back on. But I hate that VIP stuff, man.
Yeah.
That sucks.
Yeah. Anissa said, is Chryseis there now? I don't know if she's in town or not, but I'm hoping. I've sent her and Joe a message to let them know that I'm coming in town. So I'm hoping to see them.
Thank you, Desi. It was Ron Perlman and Kevin Smith. That's who had the biggest.
Okay, from Clerks. Got it. So I'm hoping that Chris and Joe and the family will be there, so I get a chance to see them. So damn happy for her and her diagnosis. Oh my God, that was such a weight lifted.
Yep.
So I know that she's still got a lot to deal with. It's certainly not the end of the road. She's got a lot of recovery that she's got to do. But it was really, really great to hear that her cancer is dead.
Yep. One day at a time.
Yeah. So hopefully it will stay dead. And, she's a fighter, boy, and her outcome has proved it. So
yeah.
Anyway.
Okay, people. Thanks for tuning in.
All right, guys. Well, I'm sorry Eliza wasn't able to be here, and sorry that Dawn had to leave early, but life is what it is. And we love you guys, and we will see you guys next week. Oh,
Yep.
We got to do this because
let's see if I have the breath to do it like Dawn does.
All right.
We'd like to thank our Patreons and our financial supporters of our show: Destiny Larimore, Terry and Kay Collier, Sandy Morrison, Tracy Killian Stokes, Ben and Melissa Gilbert, Pamela Blythe, Marianne Craig, Brendan Cade, Jason Cohn, Wesley and Sarah Hale, Randy Nickel, Jasmine Mullins, Edward and Diana Ponce Krupa, Casey and Katrina Florig, Jason Hill, Jonathan and Michelle Cooley, David Tuckerman, Tina Steinberg, Debbie Juno Jerome, and Dustin Baker. And we want to have a special shout out to our ride or die, Oscar and Casey.
Yay.
And don't ask me the question. No, I'm just kidding. I can't read. Well, I can't read that one. That one's way too small.
All right. So you guys can find us. We have a Facebook group, Relishing the Dead. We have a podcast page, The Relishing Dead. We have Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, Twitter. We've got merchandise, and you can become a Patreon. And why do they want to become a Patreon, Barb?
Because we love to give back to the TWD community.
Yay!
And our family that we love so much.
Yes. And I hope you guys understand that when we say we give back to the TWD community, we really do.
Yep.
We pay for everything ourselves, and all the money that the Patreons give us goes right back into the podcast to give gifts and presents and prizes and all that other fun stuff that you guys can win. So anyway, we love you all. We will see you next week.
Bye.